What is going on, YouTube? Thank you for checking back with another TDH upload. We are continuing where we left off with the ZJ, and you can also see that I've got my trailer out here. We are at my shop and we are doing a bunch of work prepping up for Uwari. So I'll bring you guys up to speed real quick just to show you what I did yesterday. I didn't do much filming. I cut out a few things on my plasma table and then I kind of dived in to the work. I apologize about Talon back there, he's grinding, but let me show you guys real quick. So I went ahead and did my boat slider, plated the cap, or plated the end here, capped it all off, and I ground down everything, cleaned it all up. It's all cleaned up here. I plated that rust hole where it needed to be replated there, where all that stuff was really weak and falling through. So that's all done. All along the back here, same thing. Got a plate on it. I've got to finish welding up here. I'm going to take the tire off and actually hammer this up, fold it up. That way it makes contact to weld that, and then I'm going to work my way up the fenders and then also the driver's side. So you guys can see that thing looks freaking awesome. Actually looks like a boat slider now. And then I picked up some 32 1150s for the Jeep themselves. I'm going to be running these on the factory wheels. I'll probably just do some spacers, but I grabbed these guys for $300 for 5 of them, so I couldn't complain about that. They'll serve their purpose while wheeling. I also picked up a 3.5-inch lift kit that should be here tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get a lift on this rusty bastard, put some tires on her, weld the rear diff, get a locker, and dude, we are just about done with this budget build. So on the other hand, Talon's down here giving me a hand. We are cutting up all the old decking on my trailer. Like I said, I was going to replace this. It was just finding the time, and Talon's being awesome and helping me out, knocking this stuff out. So I'm going to help him out with some rock sliders on his XJ. And that's kind of it. So I'm gonna help him keep cutting this stuff off, and when we get a little bit closer to wrapping this up, I'll turn the attention to that. So if you guys couldn't tell there, it is handy to have a plasma table. I have 3 of my 4 runs cut out. I'm actually going to move this forward probably about a foot, so that way my 4-foot cut can hang off and meet down here, and I can extend the deck like just a little bit, maybe a 1.6 inches. But I'm going to move it up. I'm going to brace it across. I'm going to put a bar on the front of it, and then for my new winch, I'm going to build a winch plate and make it so that I can remove it in and out on the trailer here. I think that'll be really handy. I can pull it off if you know, I'm letting somebody use it and I don't want them using the winch, or if I need to put the winch on, let's say the Jeep. If I build a winch plate or something for the Jeep, put a hitch receiver on it, I can swap it back and forth. But yep, we've been out here. Talon stopped by and gave me a hand cutting off all the old rusty deck. As you guys can see, this is the original sheeting here, or the original deck, whatever you want to call it. But got this whole piece cut out here, and all of these pieces, including the little wheel stops that were sitting right here. And yeah, we've just been chugging along out here. Everything's removed. What I'm probably going to do before I burn all of this stuff in, I'm going to hire my buddy. He's probably going to come out here and lay down some primer all over the trailer itself, and then from there I will figure out where I'm putting the decking. We'll grind down the areas where I'm going to weld, and then we'll weld while it has primer, then prime the deck, and then start painting all of it. I also ordered a wiring kit and lights and stuff from Amazon, but unfortunately that was not delivered. They canceled my order. For whatever reason, they canceled it, and it's no longer being shipped to me. So I'm either going to have to reorder that or just buy it locally from Harbor Freight. It was a nice LED kit. I think it was like 60, 70 bucks. So I was really excited to get that because it was going to give the trailer kind of that modern look. But oh well, it is what it is. I'll figure that out when that time comes. But I was hoping to be able to run the wiring prior to laying down the new deck. But like I said, it is what it is. And if I have to run the wires afterwards, I will. But it would just make it a whole lot easier to do this. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna run back in there to the shop, grab the last cut off the table and see how far I'm gonna have to move it to get these 4-foot sections to fit. And then that way I know we're good there. I will grab my other sheet, start cutting down for this side, and then those will be prepped up, and hopefully we'll get those welded on sometime this weekend or throughout next week. But that is the game plan. I know this is kind of all over the place between Jeep stuff and trailer stuff, but it's all kind of one shebang here, because obviously I'm cutting, welding, and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with rusty stuff. So I feel like it all flows. But yeah, let me hop in there, check on this last piece, and then I'll check in with you guys in just one second. Ta-da! We're magically back at the garage. I know I said I'd check in with you guys in 1 second, but I kind of let you down on that one. I got a little ahead of myself when I was working on the trailer, ended up getting dark, and then I was like, all right, whatever. I wrapped my stuff up, and I called it a day. So we are now at the house. It is Saturday morning. The Jeep is here, obviously. I had my boy Talon tow it home with one of our buddies' car trailers, because my car trailer still has the deck off of it, and she's actually hanging out over there. I didn't want to leave it at the shop over the weekend without the Jeep being attached to it, because I was using the Jeep as a little like block, because yeah, I just worry about people stealing the trailer. Anyways, we got some goodies in. That's what I want to turn my attention to. Again, I apologize that this video is kind of bouncing all over the place, but it's all rust repair, and it's all for the same cause. I'm going to use the trailer for my car, my Jeep, and you know, this is a big URI prep video. So anyways, guys, I'm supposed to have one more package here. For some reason, I don't know what FedEx thinks when they're shipping things, but these two came right out of Tennessee, right down through Georgia into Florida. I had them 2 business days. For some reason, one of the packages went to Mississippi. Don't know why. Went to Mississippi, and then it came back down through Georgia. It went through Georgia last night, and according to the tracking, it should be showing up here in Jacksonville this morning. So hopefully I'll get that today or tomorrow. But the reason why I'm saying that is because it all depends on what's in these boxes. If the coils are in these boxes with the lower control arms, then we can start pulling everything apart on the actual Grand Cherokee, and I can get the lift on, and we can get that installed and wait on shocks or, you know, little odds and ends. But if there's no control arms in there, then I can't put the coil springs on, and that's kind of my issue. So what we're gonna do right now is open this stuff up, and it'll kind of give me a idea on what we're gonna do. Obviously, we still need to weld up the boat sliders or the plating on this slider here. I brought those home. They're actually laying there in the front seat. You guys can see them right there. And then I've got the welder here at the house from the shop, and I'll burn those in this weekend. So got to knock out that side. I will film that a little bit more in depth so you guys can see that, and obviously we'll film opening up these guys real quick. All right, box number 1. Let's see what we got in here. Box. Gonna take a wild guess and say that there are coil springs. Alrighty guys, so I totally screwed up. I forgot to update you guys. I know, I'm awful. There's nothing new to my YouTube videos. We're out here, we got the lower control arms in. The package actually showed up about 2 hours ago, and me and my neighbor, he came over, Mr. John, and we just started to dive right in. And yeah, like I said, I forgot to update you guys, but we got the lift spring in there, lower control arm. All we got to do is relocate the track bar 3/4 of an inch over on the passenger side. Just re-drill that hole there on center 3/4 of an inch over, and then yep, you slide the factory hardware back in there, and then all we got to do is put the shocks in, and the front's done. I bought the cheapest 3.5 inch kit that Rough Country offers, so it does not come with rear shot or rear springs, coils, whatever you want to call them. So you take the fronts and you move them to the back. That was going to be my original idea, to do V8 springs up front with a coil spacer and move my front ones to the back, but it was just easier to buy a kit that was 550 bucks with shocks, control arms, and front coils. So we're going to drill that out, relocate that track bar over, and then we'll move to the rear. And yeah, we're getting closer. So I wanted to check in with you guys before I got ahead of myself here. I've gotten the rear most of the way taken apart. Both lower control arms are off. The new control arms are hanging. Track bar is off. I'm about to install the bracket. Here's the rear spring compared to the front spring. This kit has the front spring moving to the rear, so that's getting replaced. Everything's going pretty smooth back here. Hopefully I don't jinx myself. But we are just about there. The last thing that I'll have to do is lower the transfer case. And yeah, that's it. Front's all bolted up, tires are on it. Looking much better, and I'll show you guys over here. Got a tire sitting next to the Jeep. Give you an idea of how big it'll be sitting. So I'm super stoked. Looking really good. For $526, I really don't think you're gonna be able to beat this. I mean, I am absolutely stoked with how the kit came out. Look at that. That's the front spring in the rear. And then all you gotta do is throw the rough country front 3.5-inch coil in. Look at that. This thing is looking beautiful. I cannot wait to get these freaking tires mounted up on it. Get some wheel spacers. I also got a little rack that I built up. I haven't even showed you guys the rack yet. But man, you can't beat that for $526. I am so stoked. Guys, I know the video was kind of all over the place. I want to apologize about that, but honestly, I'm just kind of filming my little snippets here and there, just kind of bouncing all around. Yeah, I get kind of overwhelmed because I get too far in my head. I'm like, all right, I'll do this, this, and this, and this by the end of the day, and I'll do this, this, and this by, you know, the Thursday. And once I start diving into something and I realize something's going to take me a little bit longer, like for instance my trailer, I wanted to do, you know, it right. I want to be able to paint everything while the, you know, top plating's off, and I want to be able to put the lighting in there. I reordered those lights, by the way, but I want to apologize. But I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked that I was able to get this done and complete this weekend. I was really worried about FedEx not being able to make it until Monday, and that I brought home my Jeep for nothing, but I am so stoked. I wanted to do that welding, and that's kind of like, it's kind of how I am. I'll get something in my head, and then I'm like, oh well, we'll do this. And as soon as FedEx pulled up, I was like, all right, whatever, I'm doing the lift kit. So yeah, guys, I am so stoked. I am so stoked. I could have done a better upload, but I don't know. It's all good. All right, guys, I've got to clean up my driveway. I got all this stuff laying out, old control arms, boxes, all my tools. I laid a bunch of tools over here, so I got to sort through all that. I just wanted to check in with you guys and show you the Grand Cherokee. When I'm all cleaned up, I will close out this video. Give me a couple minutes, guys. Alrighty, we are cleaned up. That is a wrap. Jeep is lifted up. We are good to go on that. This week we're going to get the tires mounted up. I'm going to try to look around for some wheels before I dive right into that, but haven't had any luck finding anything locally, so I'll probably just mount them on these 15s and get some wheel spacers, because I picked up obviously a 15-inch wheel or tire. So that should fit up nicely under there with some spacers, because I'm going to have to get them out of those fenders because it's going to rub. But other than that, guys, I am super stoked. I am exhausted. I am dirty. I'm hungry. So that is it for the night, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. I'm going to hop back on the trailer this week when we grab some primer and some paint, so that way we can move forward, and hopefully this dang light kit shows up, and I can make a part 2 on that. But and also the rock sliders, I got to finish welding that, because I showed you one side and we didn't even film the other side, or even attempt to do it, because obviously the welder's still sitting right here and I'm all dirty from lifting a rusty piece of shit ZJ. So that is that. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Deuces.